Am I proud being an African? Can I stand up there, out there, and say I'm proudly Zimbabwean, I'm proudly African? We have many people who cannot do that on the African continent. Until such time, we believe that we are equal to anyone else in the world, and we have 5 brains that can think and innovate things even better than other communities. We will remain subservient to those that had colonized us earlier. So our education system should seek to attend to this. This is critical, because as long as we do not believe in ourselves, as long as we are not proud of our identities as Africans, then we will always play second. We will always remain second-class citizens on this world. So our curriculum, our education system should seek to empower our children with the belief that themselves they can do it, and even do it better. We are not different in the eyes of God. We are the same, be it European, American, Chinese, African. We are the same. We must therefore believe in ourselves as Africans. And it starts with us crafting our own curriculum that attends to our own issues, that empowers us to create, innovate, and design things for our continent in a manner that will address the issues. Yes, I understand we live in a global village. We are interdependent, and that should give us any leverage, but without losing sight of the fact that we are Africans. Why should we always be copying all the time from the Europeans, from the Americans, and other countries? It should be time that the Chinese, the Americans, the Europeans start copying from what we are doing on Mother Africa. Because we have people that are working out there in America, that are working in on different continents other than Africa, who are African origin, who can come and serve Africa in the same way that they have served multinational companies out there. And it starts with us designing a curriculum that will ensure that we restore our identity, our African identity, which was battered through years of enslavement, through deliberate educational systems that were made to shape a narrative that sought to be subservient to those Europeans or colonizers of that particular day. But now that we are independent Africa, we need to move away from these curricula that were designed to perpetuate slavery amongst Africans. So for me, I think there is need for us Africans to believe in ourselves. A curriculum designed to make sure that we believe and trust ourselves. And secondly, a curriculum that restores our identity and have belief in our identity as Africans. That is critical if we want to move ahead, not as second-class citizens on Mother Earth.
Thank you so much for that. And it is very important to outline the fact that it is not by accident that what we are today in the world is the situation, because this is a deliberate effort. Somebody have spent millions and billions of dollars to create this reality. It's about narration. It's like what we have been saying before. No, if the United States can spend the huge amount of money that they spend on propagating its own identity on the world, it's not making a mistake. It's because there is an objective for it. Every country should do education based on what it expects. If in Africa, we are just trying to copy, it's not even a question of copy that is the problem. It's just that we are copying the wrong thing. Now, assuming, like I was saying before, that Nigeria say, let me use Nigeria as an example. Say, okay, in this country, we don't have light because in Nigeria, we basically don't have light. Those who are supposed to do it don't even know what to do. So they are, in fact, they are giving it to the wrong people to start with. Okay. Now, let's go to America, or let's go to China, or let's go to Germany to study how they have resolved their light problem, and then copy it and come home and create light. But instead, they never do that. Or let's go to maybe France to study how they have created railway. Why we don't have railway? If that is what we are copying, we don't have any problem. Instead, they are copying the wrong thing, and they are doing it in a way that it keeps us on the ground. We will never leave the ground zero. This is what is really very wrong in the system. So, in the educational system, we are always there. I'm looking at infrastructure because in many parts of the countries in Africa, not only in South Africa this time, some of the rooms are overly crowded. The infrastructure have not really been developed. Some of them have been there since for over 50 years. So what is your reaction to this area? What do you think can be done to make the environment conducive for the children who want to learn? Because we don't want to torture them just because they want to go to school.
It is important that in order to guarantee quality education in Southern Africa, on the continent as a whole, we need to have conducive environment. A conducive environment ensures that the delivery of the lessons is up to standard, and the learning thereof by the children is also interesting. So our governments should devote a greater percentage of their budget to the education sector so that we can address issues of infrastructural deficit that still obtains in some of our institutions, some of our schools, so that we have good buildings that are taken care of almost every other time. It is not good for a child to walk into a classroom where all window panes are broken. If you are, and they are not attended for a very long time, that in itself shows that we have a broken system, and a broken system brings up a broken, inadequate products that will ill-equip the children to deal with the circumstances that they will face in future. So it is important that our buildings where our children are supposed to learn are attended to almost all the time. We need also state-of-the-art infrastructure, be it in the rural areas or in towns. We do not need to segregate by way of commodifying education, in which we have well-built schools being charged exorbitantly so that a certain group of children can go there. All schools should be equally have the same structures, such as libraries. They should have safe and hygienic sanitary facilities. They should ensure that these buildings, they are also maintained, the libraries are maintained, books are changed time and again. You should not walk into a library and find textbooks or books that are no longer relevant, or that are not relevant to the context, in this case, the African context. I'm not so sure whether Romeo and Juliet has anything to do with us on the African context. And we still find people doing literature, studying Romeo and Juliet. Surely, well, Shakespeare was a good writer, but For us to continue to dwell on Shakespeare as if we do not have African writers on our own continent, surely it defeats the purpose of even encouraging more people to write. We should also make sure that in poorer communities, when children come from their communities, from their houses, some of them leave their houses without having had a meal. It becomes the responsibility of our governments to make sure that we feed these children when they get to school, to ensure that when they go into classes, they learn on a full stomach, like any other child coming from elsewhere. Because if you go to well-up schools, even here in South Africa, you will see that they even have a canteen. Whereas when you go to a school in a poorer community, even a tuck shop is non-existent. So they are supposed to rely on food parcels, lunch boxes, which they bring from their homes. And others, many of them might not be having them. So it then creates an uneven learning platform for our children. Therefore, governments should also take a deliberate policy to make sure that children are fed in schools so that they can easily learn.